Hey, what's up everybody, and welcome back to Unparalleled Universe for another action figure review. And today we're taking a look at the brand new Marvel Legends supervillain Xemnu Build-A-Figure wave, Red Skull. And I'm super excited about this figure. I'm excited about this wave. It's a full wave of comic book figures, and it's a themed wave because they're all supervillains, and I think that is super dope. Even though these aren't all necessarily villains that I would have picked, I still love the idea. I love that the Build-A-Figure is a villain. I like that they got us a bunch of villains from all over different corners of the Marvel Universe. You got some X-Men stuff, you have some Doctor Strange, some Fantastic Four, I guess. I mean, this version of Doom was like a villain to everybody, I think. I guess that's always the case with Doom. Whatever. The point is, they're all over the place with this wave, and I love it. But anyways, let's go ahead and get into it, starting off with the packaging. You are able to see the Red Skull through the packaging here. You can see all the awesome accessories that he comes with. You can see the Build-A-Figure piece right here in front. It says Marvel Supervillains Red Skull. We got some green and some purple going, which is awesome. On the side of the box, we get some really cool looking Red Skull artwork with him holding the Cosmic Cube. On the back, we get some more artwork of the Red Skull doing his thing, and then we have a very short biography about Red Skull. And that's about it for the packaging. It is the standard Marvel Legends packaging, which means it's collector friendly and all that good stuff. But enough about this awesome looking box. Let's go ahead and take a look at the figure. Alright, so here we have Red Skull right out of the packaging, and man, I am really enjoying this figure. Even though there's not a whole lot going on, he's got a fairly simple design. I still think this thing looks awesome, and I'm having a bunch of fun with it. I've always been a really big fan of this look for Red Skull, because this is like where he's kind of ready to go out and actually get his hands dirty, square up with Captain America and all that good stuff. Some other looks for the character kind of make it seem like he's a behind the scenes kind of guy, but I like this right here because it looks like he's ready to fight. So this is going to be awesome to have him go up against the 80th anniversary Captain America. And I'm a little surprised that it took Hasbro so long to give us this version of the Red Skull. Because it's so simple, it feels like they could have just painted one of their random bodies green and threw it out and called it a day. But I'm really happy that's not what they did, because they waited and then they came along and gave us a new body for Red Skull. And it's always exciting getting new bodies for the comic book characters, because then we start to think like what other characters they could possibly use with these bodies. They've already put this body to clever reuse with Dormammu. I think that was a good move. They added a bunch of overlays to make it feel different, so that's nice. And I will be reviewing that figure, so you can look forward to that. But another character that I think that they might make with this body is Baron Helmet Zemo. I think that this body will work perfectly for him. You might have to add a couple of things like some overlays and stuff like that, but I feel like there's a lot of good base parts here that could be used for that character, and that would be awesome, because that's probably my most wanted like comic book villain that I want from Hasbro. And it seems like it seems to make sense because of how popular he was in the Falcon and Winter Soldier show. So it seems like a perfect time to do it, and I just really hope that's the case, but we'll see. But about this guy, yeah, this thing is awesome. I really think they did a great job. But let's go ahead and get in close and take a look at some of the new sculpting work and some of the details on Red Skull. So starting off with this head sculpt, I think they did a great job with the details on it. As you can see, there's a lot of nice sculpting work on here with the cheekbones, the eyebrow, and the nose, the teeth. All of that looks really good, but I will say that I'm not a huge fan of the color. I kind of feel like it's a little too bright, and I would have preferred a deeper, darker red. But as it is, I think it looks good. I don't think that I'm going to repaint the head or anything. I might add a little bit of a wash to the teeth or something just to bring out that detail a little bit more. But as it is, I do like the way it looks. It's just not my preferred color as far as the red goes. But I think they did a great job with it. It does have a very classic, old school Red Skull kind of vibe to it. So I do like this a lot. The alternate head looks really nice as well. As you can see, we've got a lot of nice sculpting work on here. You can see the cheekbones and the eyebrows. I like the way that the eyes are sunken back a little bit. I think that all looks really nice. This head sculpt definitely has a more modern kind of feel to it compared to the other one. And he looks a little bit more menacing. So I think they did a great job on this head sculpt. It does suffer from the same problem as far as the color is concerned, but in general, I think it's a really good looking head sculpt. Then moving down into the body, there's not a whole lot to talk about. It's a guy in a green jumpsuit, so there's all the appropriate sculpting work, but it does look nice. On his left arm, he does have the Hydra band, and that Hydra logo is really clean on there, so they did a great job there. And then he does have this black waistband around the waist that has some sculpted details. It kind of breaks it up a little bit. I like that they made the hands a different color, just to add a little bit of variety there. And then moving down to the boots, we have these brown boots. They look nice. The legs have some good sculpting work on it. And yeah, there's sculpting work everywhere. Like I said, it's a guy wearing clothes, so there's wrinkles and creases and all that good stuff going on. So Yeah, like I said earlier, kind of a simple design, but it's accurate for the character, and I think it looks really good. So aside from the two heads that we've already taken a look at and the Build-A-Figure piece, Red Skull does come with some other cool stuff, including 3 different sets of hands. So first off, we have a set of trigger finger hands, and then we have a set of fists, and then we have a pair of open hands that could be used to hold on to the Cosmic Cube that he comes with. And I love that he came with that, even though Hasbro has already given us a couple of different Cosmic Cubes with various Red Skull figures. I'm happy they still threw one in here for him. And then he also comes with the gun. This gun looks like it's the same gun that came with Star-Lord, I believe. Or it looks very similar to it. In any case, I think it works for Red Skull, so I like it. And I also really like that it has a Hydro logo on it to kind of make it fit a little bit better with Red Skull, so I think that's cool too. And now for some size comparisons, we have Red Skull alongside the Marvel Legends Winter Soldier and the Marvel Legends 80th Anniversary Captain America. And I love the way these two look together. I can't wait to take some pictures of them fighting and doing their thing. But man, I would really like to see Hasbro make a classic Bucky, because I know, like, if they would have done it before, I mean, they have done it before actually, and it wasn't very good. So that's definitely a character they need to come back around to and remake. I think they could do a good job with it, and it would kind of complete this setup here. And next up, we have him alongside the Mezco 112 Collective Red Skull that has like the same suit. And it's really cool that Mezco put out this version of Red Skull, but it was an exclusive. It became very expensive very fast, so it was pretty impossible for people to get this version of Red Skull from any line. But now Hasbro has come along and made it a little bit easier for you. And then on the opposite side, we have the previous Marvel Legends Red Skull. I can't remember what wave he came from. Probably from like the Captain America Winter Soldier wave, I would say. But man, that body sucks. That's all I know right there. And one thing I will say though is I like the red on that Red Skull much better than the red on the new Red Skull. I feel like they were maybe going for like a classic old school comic kind of vibe with this head, which I love, but it's just too bright. But let's see what if we could do a head swap. Ooh, look at that. That looks much more menacing. So I might end up throwing this body in a bin and keeping this head with the accessories for this Red Skull. That way I could just throw it on there whenever I want. But that looks really good. So there you go, that's an option. I did try to do a head swap with the Mezco one, but it didn't quite work because the hole in the Mezco head is a little too small. So I was able to heat it up and put it on there, but then when I took it off, the hole was kind of big, and then it was having trouble staying back on the Mezco body. Now it's on there just fine, but I don't want to reheat it and do that again. But like I said, if you need a darker, more menacing looking Red Skull head, and you have this Red Skull, this definitely works. So that is a very good option. And if you want to get some Invaders action going, here we have him alongside the Marvel Legends Namor, and then on the opposite side we have the SH Figure Arts Age of Ultron Captain America. And next up we have Red Skull alongside the Toy Biz Marvel Legends Baron Hendrik Zemo. I think that's how you say his name. That's Helmet's dad right there. And I still think this is a really nice figure. I don't care what anyone says. I'm still gonna bust out Toy Biz figures every now and then. And I think this one still holds up and it looks nice. Now if you take his hands out from behind him, then that changes a little bit. The hands are kind of wonky. But like that, I think this is a really dope figure and I still love it. But I would still like to see Hasbro's take on that character. I think they can make a really good figure. And on the opposite side, we have one of the best Hasbro figures in my opinion, and that is the Kang the Conqueror. And I just like to see all this love that Hasbro is showing to villains just in general, because they're doing a really good job. And then of course we have them alongside the Marvel Legends Pizza Spider-Man and Marvel Legends Bucky Cap. And as far as the articulation goes, there are some new things going on here, but for the most part, it's a very familiar articulation setup, but I think it works pretty good for the Red Skull. So let's go ahead and take a look. Starting off at the head, they are using that new style of neck that they've been doing on recent figures, and I think that Red Skull actually has the best version of that, because as you can see, he can tilt his head side to side, he can look up to about right there, he can look down to right there, we have some really nice tilting, and then he can look left to right. So we do have movement at the lower neck and at the upper neck. So I think they did a good job with it. And like I said in my Scarlet Witch review, they just seem to be getting better and better with this neck setup. And I really love to see it. So it looks like there's a ball joint at the lower neck. And then of course you have the ball joint at the head. So yeah, like I said, I think Red Skull has the best version of this setup that we've seen so far in Marvel Legends. So really good stuff there. And then for the torso, we do have an ab crunch, but he doesn't crunch forward very much. It only goes to about right there, which is not a whole lot. And then it does crunch back only to right there. So not a whole lot going on in the torso. I think I would have preferred a diaphragm cut in this case, But what we have here still works pretty good, you know. It doesn't get a super deep crunch, so, you know, hopefully they don't put Scarlet Spider on this body or something like that. There is an ab crunch there, but I do feel like they could have given us a little bit more. But still, you know, I could live with it. And then he does have a waist swivel. For the arms, we have ball jointed shoulders that do go all the way around. They don't get in front of him too much, but you could still get him in punching poses. So that's okay. You could bring his arms out to the side a really good amount. The shoulders aren't too tight or anything like that, so that's good stuff there. He does have upper bicep swivel. He's got a really nice double jointed elbow. Check this out. Get a really good bend on that. So good stuff there. For the hands, we do have swivels on both hands. And for the trigger finger hands, he does have that vertical hinge. And for the fist and the open hands, he has the standard traditional hinge. So pretty good stuff at the arms. For the legs, whoa, they could come out a pretty good amount. They could kick forward only to about right there, so not a crazy amount. They could go back to right there. Basically, that's it. Not too much back. He does have upper thigh swivel. And then for the knees, we have a double jointed knee, but this double jointed knee is weird. It's really tight, especially on the lower end. But look at that. A really good bend at the knee. Damn. Really good stuff. And then he does have lower leg swivel, rocking ankles that hinge forward and then come up a really good amount. So there you go. I think he has everything that Red Skull would need. But yeah, the figure is a lot of fun to pose and play with. So I'm pretty happy with the articulation, even though I do wish that he had a little bit more ab crunch. I'm still pretty happy with what we have going on here. So they did a good job with the articulation. Alright, so overall, at the end of the day, when the smoke clears, the dust settles, and it's all said and done, I really like this figure. Like I said before, it is very simple, but it's a lot of fun to play with, and he looks good. This is an essential look for the character, so I'm happy that Hasbro finally came around and gave it to us. And what I'm really impressed with are the accessories, because even though he doesn't have a whole lot of stuff, he's got some great things. Like, I feel the accessories that he comes with should be pretty much standard with all Marvel Legends figures. You've got 3 different sets of hands, 2 heads, and then a couple of items that are specific to the character. I feel like they should do that every single time, and I think people would be very happy. But I really like what we have going on here. It's a very good base body. It works really well for the character. Like I said before, it's a lot of fun to pose around and play with. Even though the articulation isn't mind-blowing or anything like that, I think it works very well for the character. I like to see the progress on the neck setup. I think they're doing good stuff there. And just in general, I really like this figure. I would say the only thing that I wish was a little different is the color of the head. It doesn't quite look red to me. It kind of looks like pinkish orange or something. I don't know. It doesn't look like red. I like a deep, ugly, kind of menacing red like we get with the previous Hasbro Marvel Legends Red Skull. So I'm probably going to be using this head a lot for this figure. But still, I do think the head sculpts that he came with are very nice. I just think the color should be a little different. But still, you know, there's options out there so you can make it work. And I like the fact that they gave us 2 different designs for the head sculpts. One of them kind of feels a little bit more modern, and the other one feels like very classic Red Skull. So I think that's a very cool approach too. But yeah, just in general, man, I am very happy with this figure, and I think they did a good job with it. And with that, I think that's it. Thank you so much for watching. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and all that good stuff. Also, be sure to hit the bell notification so you know every time that I go live. Thank you very much. Peace.